We are the Big Bold Christians. I have none other than Matthew Amwako here with us today. For those of you who don't know Matthew, he was part of our youth group here at New Heart and went to Notre Dame in Indiana. He got a scholarship, so we're so excited. He's back here with us after his first semester of college. How you doing, Matthew?
I'm doing good, everybody. How you doing, Charles?
Well, don't get too excited there, Matthew. We're so glad to have you back. What we're going to do first of all right now, though, is we're going to have a pie eating contest. So I'm just going to tell you the rules, Matthew. So first of all, no hands, okay? We got to have our hands behind our backs, all right? Then the first person, so you can win two ways, Matthew, all right? We've got a prize for you for if you win two ways. You ready for it? Mm-hmm. Either you eat the pie faster than me, or you get more whipped cream on your face than I do, okay?
Okay.
So let's put our mics back just a little bit, so that way we don't get them all. All right, on your mark, get set, go!
This is harder than I thought. This is a lot harder than I thought. We should have put less whipped cream in here.
Matthew's going so much faster than I am.
I need to wipe my food.
Stop the noises.
I'm almost done, Matthew. You better hurry up.
Oh, wait, I can't use my hands. Okay.
Matthew, I think I'm done.
I have more on my face, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you do have more on your face.
So I win, I think.
All right, good job, Matthew. Hey, let's move these mics closer. Good job, Matthew. Way to go. Okay, so I have a prize for you. It's a participation prize. As a thank you for joining us, we have a Notre Dame. What is this? A mug or?
Oh, yeah.
A thermos?
Yeah, that's
for
very
you.
nice.
So I don't. Do you drink coffee? I assume all college students drink coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Very nice. Hot chocolate, something warm there. On the cold winter nights at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So anyway, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I really like it, actually. I know it's a participation gift. I want to thank you for allowing me to do this, so I got you a gift as well.
Oh my gosh! Why would you do something like that? Well, Thank you so much for that. Oh, wow, we got it all over the place. My dad's not going to be happy about that. Well, anyway, Matthew, we have some questions for you. I got to clean myself up a little bit right here. No one tell Pastor Chuck that happened, okay? Nobody tell Pastor Chuck that we got it all over the sanctuary. But it's all for you guys. Okay, so we got some questions for you, Matthew. Can you tell us about your college roommate, Matthew?
Yeah, my roommate, Ryan, yeah, he's from New York, actually. He's a redhead, just to paint a picture for you guys. Yeah, we had actually a really good relationship. It was, yeah, we first bonded. We both like sports together, and then he's actually a Laker fan as well, even though he's from New York, so that's, I would say, like our first connection. And then, yeah, it just went on from there, just living together. We formed a good bond. Yeah, it's really nice to have a good roommate. I know some people who don't have a good roommate, so it's really nice that I can actually bond with someone. We also had a really good relationship academically as well. He was a really good writer, actually, so he'd help me write my essays, and then I'd actually help him with some math homework. So I had a really good roommate. I really thank God for it, actually, because I know some people who don't. So
Yeah, and so you were telling me with your roommate, why do you think it went so well between you and him? Why do you think you got along? Because a lot of high school students, when they go to college, have never had a roommate before. So how did you guys work that out? So that way, you know, why was the dynamic so good, you think?
I think first off, I think we're just both like nice people. We get along well with others, and then also, like I said, we had a connection with sports. We're always talking sports with each other, and like that's how we first bonded. So I think that's probably why we ended up working so well together.
Yeah, and they had this well, it wasn't massive, but it was massive for me as a college student. They had this big screen TV in their dorm, which I thought was really cool. And you guys would watch Laker games, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. So tell us about your crew from college.
So I would say it's about 7 people. I'll see if I can remember all of them. Our squad. So I'll start with my friend from Denver, Emmett. He was probably the first friend I made actually when I was out there. He's really short, but he's fun to be around. I have a friend from Long Island as well, so he's near my roommate actually. His name's James. He has long blonde hair, so we call him Trevor Lawrence. I have a friend from Boston named Will. He's really cool. I have a friend actually from South Bend as well, where South Bend is the city where Notre Dame is. His name's Teddy. He's really good at football. And then I have a friend named Luke, who's actually from South Korea, but he came to North Carolina when he was really young, so he's from North Carolina.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you got a good group of guys or a good group of people to hang out with while you're at college. Is it cold there? How cold is it right now?
It's too cold over there, actually. It's probably like 35 degrees. It's like half the temperature it is here, so I'm glad to be back.
Did it snow? You know, all the youth love snow up at winter camp. So did it snow? Has it snowed yet?
Yeah, it snowed once while I was there. It didn't stick, but actually what was funny is the day after, my friend Teddy actually sent me a picture, and it actually stuck on the ground, so it snowed the day after I got there. So
Okay, well, that's good. Did you face an obstacle or challenge at all in college?
yeah, definitely. When I got sick, I would say it was the middle of October. That was, I was sick for the first time without my mom, without anyone to take care. And so if you're listening and you've never been to college, it's a lot interesting. You finally get sick and you kind of want some help, but you don't really have anyone to help you. So it was kind of difficult doing that. Then my roommate started freaking out because he thought I had COVID because I was kind of coughing a lot. So I had to go get a COVID test, and they put me in isolation for a couple days, which is also not fun. You're by yourself for a couple days, which isn't the best. You'd rather, at least, see other faces, or you can't even step outside really, so I couldn't even get fresh air. So that was definitely the biggest obstacle I had while I was out there.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry that happened, but, we're going to talk about our lesson today, and it's called Welcome to the Big League, because, going to Notre Dame, you made it to the big league, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you
I'd say
agree?
so.
And so, when we make it to the big league, we can't allow obstacles or mistreatment to stop us from doing what God has called us to do and doing what is right. And, like God, you believe God called you to Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
Right? So he couldn't give up. He couldn't say, okay, I'm facing this obstacle, so now it's just time to give up. We have to, when we face that obstacle, the reason why we're facing that obstacle is because the enemy wants to discourage us from accomplishing what God has called us to do. In fact, God says that we should count ourselves blessed when we are insulted and persecuted for the name of Jesus, or when we meet obstacles of any kind. Matthew 5:11-12 says, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Now, when I was in high school, my dad had committed himself to being a pastor while I was growing up. We did not, as a family, have all the money. I didn't have all the cool stuff or the fancy cars other kids in my school had, because my dad did not have a lot of dough at the time. I remember there was another guy in my class, and his dad was an attorney and on the school board. This guy would get the first pick of all the best opportunities in the school. He was favored among all the teachers. All the teachers would pick him for special honors and awards. And he ended up being just really popular because his dad was on the school board. He would also make like crude jokes all the time, behind the scenes with the other guys. And I wouldn't like entertain any of that stuff. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. I really wanted to do what was right and be clean and be godly, not in a overbearing way, but just, I didn't want to engage in that type of stuff. And so I remember other students would make all kinds of crude jokes and would joke about like using marijuana, and they'd use different words so that way the teachers wouldn't know what they were talking about. They have all the slang for what marijuana is, and I wouldn't engage in that stuff either. And sometimes, to be honest, I was just kind of clueless about what was going on because I didn't want to get involved in that scene. So I remember running for student body president of my high school against the same guy who would make all these crude jokes, and another girl like me who would always do the right thing. Well, he won by so much that they didn't even have to hold a runoff election because you had to win by 1%, and there was 3 of us. So he won over 51%, and it wasn't even close. And so I just felt really frustrated, and I felt like I was being rejected for not going along with some of the worldly aspects that my peers were, what they were doing, even though it was a Christian school. I mean, this was a private Christian school, and they still were doing all kinds of bad stuff. The end of the story, though, is that because I was true to God during all that time and was faithful, it allowed me to become an attorney someday, just like that other guy's dad. And now I get to be involved in this youth group, in this youth ministry at church, and invest in you all. And you know what? That is so much more fulfilling and rewarding and meaningful to me than ever being student body president of my high school. So in the end, God knows what he's doing, and it worked out. But the thing is I couldn't allow that persecution or those obstacles to sidetrack me from what God had called me in life. And the thing is, when we face obstacles or mistreatment, we have made it to the big league because the enemy is taking us seriously. When we make it to the big league and when we do great things for God, it just means that the enemy is going to come after us that much more, and we're going to face that much more opposition. 1 Peter 4:12-13 tells us, "Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you. But rejoice insofar as you share Christ's sufferings, that you may also rejoice and be glad when his glory is revealed." A couple years ago, here's another good story, Matthew. You like these stories?
Yeah, keep telling them.
Keep telling them. A couple of years ago, my boss was very much against my involvement with the youth group at church. He would try to keep me from taking time off to help my parents with work at the church or with the youth. He would deny me vacation or make it difficult for me to go up to summer or winter camp with you all in the youth group. He would track me on my phone because I had to be responsive and had work information on my phone. So because there was work information on the phone, legally he could track my location without even telling me that he was doing that. If I was in a location that showed that I was like at the church or doing other type of church work, he would email me and ask me to do a rush assignment right away. It was a very difficult situation, and I knew I was on the cusp of something really great for God because I was meeting all of this opposition. So instead of, I could have just said, oh, you know what? I'm just going to give up. I'm not going to go to winter camp. I'm not going to go to summer camp and disappoint you all. But instead, I stayed strong. I stood firm. Well, God helped me realize that he was tracking me through my phone. So this one time when I was going to a youth conference to learn more how to improve the youth ministry at our church, I left my phone at home and took my mom's phone instead. That way he didn't know that I was away from the house. So it was God basically showed me how to get around his tracking of all my whereabouts. And so the thing is, we shouldn't be surprised when the obstacles or mistreatment increase as we become more effective and take a bolder stand for Christ. Matthew 10:16-18 says, "Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves, so be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Beware of men, for they will deliver you over to courts and flog you in their synagogues. And you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake, to bear witness before them and the Gentiles." God told me that I had proved myself faithful and that he would give me greater responsibility in the things that are to come. And so when you get greater responsibility, you get greater opposition. Opposition, a lot of times, is a really good thing, because when you get that opposition, it means you're on the cusp of doing something great for God, as long as you just have faith and you don't give up. So I just want to let you know, if you're facing any opposition, if you're sick and you're worried you have COVID, and you're away from home, don't give up. Keep pressing forward. If kids are making fun of you at school, or you have low self-esteem, or you think that you're not worth anything, keep moving forward. You can do it. I believe in you. We believe in you here at New Heart. And the only reason why those people are teasing you and making fun of you is because they're jealous of what is on the inside of you, and they're worried that if you really do speak up, that everybody else is going to see the truth in you and that they're going to be drawn to it. So don't give up and be bold. Be bold as a lion, like Pastor Gary told us today. And so, Matthew, we have a few more questions left for you. Did you learn anything about how to integrate your faith with academics or science while you're in college in your first semester?
Yeah, of course. So Notre Dame, if you don't know, is a Catholic school, and so everyone has to take this class called Moreau, which is basically a one-unit course where everyone kind of discusses things. It's like a discussion-based class, and then you actually learn more about the school and like its history. And so one of the lessons that we had about Notre Dame's history is actually about how one of the founders, Father Moreau, which is why the class is called Moreau, he actually, when he founded Notre Dame, he didn't just want people to learn about academics like chemistry or political science or anything. He wanted us to grow in our faith, and he wanted actually to create a school where people learned academics so that they could further their faith and actually grow in their faith and actually spread their faith around the world. So
that is so cool. We're so glad that you're able to make it to Notre Dame for that very reason. Did anything you learned in youth group at New Heart help you in college?
Yeah, definitely. We read a lot of passages, I'd say, upstairs with the youth, where we talked about not worrying and giving your struggles and your worries up to God. And I had to go through that a little bit. My grades, especially at the beginning of the semester, getting used to college weren't the best. They weren't what I wanted them to be. And so, I could have worried, but, I kind of thought back to, what we always talked about upstairs, and kind of praying to God and just giving up all those worries and struggles to God. And so I did that, and it was definitely helpful, because I met some people who were definitely struggling and worrying a lot. And I think, just coming to this church and, being with the youth a lot and like reading those passages, it really helped me to focus on, just focus on doing what I can do and just giving up all the things all my worries up to God. So
that's awesome, Matthew. I'm so glad to hear that was helpful for you. So last question, what advice would you give your friends here in the New Heart Youth Group about going to college? I know a lot of them are younger, maybe not going to college for a couple years or even more. What advice would you give them?
So I guess the first thing I'd definitely say was be yourself. It is be yourself. You're going to meet a lot of different people, a lot of new people fast, and it's going to be easy to not be yourself, but please just be yourself. There's a lot of people at college. You'll find eventually some type of friends that you'll like. So don't try to fit in at all. People can actually really tell when you're just trying to fit in. So I'm sorry. Be yourself, and you'll be fine. Secondly, you're going to have a lot of freedom in college. find time to go to church. It's going to be helpful. It's going to be helpful, like, especially on Sunday. You're going to be stressed doing a lot of homework. Sundays, like, you're going to realize in college it's homework day. Everyone's just bunkered in either in the library or in the dorm just doing homework. You're going to want to take some time to go to church, because if you don't think about it, you will forget. And I don't know. I felt like the weeks I didn't go to church, if I did forget, like, it was a bad week. So definitely figure out some time where you can go to church and really just sit down and be with the Lord. So.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad you're back here. When do you go back to school? Do you know when your semester starts again?
Yeah, I'm starting at the beginning of February, so.
Cool. So Matthew will be here with us for 2 more months. So if you want to hit him up, or like have a socially distanced lunch with him or something, definitely we could do something like that. I might actually try and talk to some of your parents and see if we can set something like that up in our front yards or something like that. So anyway, it was really nice seeing you all. I hope you had a good time with this lesson. And Matthew's back for 2 months. All right. See you later.
See you guys.